February was the month I read 3 books in one series, entered my Heiress Duke era, revisited a Greek mythology, and then accidentally stumbled upon a 4.8 historical fiction that emotionally wrecked me. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Princess, and this is where we judge books, not people, where we talk about books from a budget-friendly, library-loving perspective. And today, we are talking about all the books I read in the month of February, what I liked, what I didn't like, and what surprised me. I read across genres this month, and what became very apparent was that I like romance. Surprise, surprise, surprise. But I like romance with complicated love stories. Also, this list is in no particular order of ratings and the order of which I read them. Starting our month off strong with the Drew Collins series by Granger. I gave The Secret World of Maggie Gray a 4.25. I gave the second book, The First Family, a 4.25. And then I gave the third book, which I think they changed the title, which is like When a Wolf Loves a Moon. I gave that 3.7. So for starters, I listened to all 3 of these books on audio. I was hooked from book 1. So in the beginning of this series, we have The Secret World of Maggie Gray. And the whole series is a dark academia, urban fantasy that follows Maggie Gray. She is unaware of this hidden magical world when she discovers that, she is related to this historical ancient vampire family. And in this book, we have werewolves and fairies and sirens all at this HBCU. And it is just unbelievably I just had such a good time with this book. When I tell you that this book had me, from the first book, had me in a chokehold. I'm talking about the chokiest of chokeholds. I'm talking about I was gasping for air. I was so enthralled. I was so entertained by everything, all of the characters. Now, I will say that this is not an urban fantasy that's like a classically written, polished fantasy. That's not this. This is messy. This is ghetto. This is ratchet. And I loved it. I think this is honestly my first urban fantasy. And a couple years ago, I heard nothing but mixed reviews, but mostly good. Just really wanted to get my hands on this. So glad I did. This is truly for the culture. You know what I mean? This book is not, it doesn't shy away from all of the messy black culture references or anything like that. This is truly the most hilarious, on topic, on trend, for the culture, messy, ratchet, ghetto HBCU. And I know some people are gonna have a hard time with some of the stereotypes, but I don't know. If you're not into messy, trashy television, okay, then fine. Maybe this is not for you, and that's totally fine. But if you love a good, I could envision this being like an HBO series. I saw it in my head, every single episode. I was locked in. I was there. I wanted to tune in for every single episode. That's how she was here. She was here. She was truly not allowing me to get the oxygen that I needed, and she just did not let up. I listened to the traditionally published version, and I know the indie version. I know some people had issues with the editing and all of that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what you got, but I got The Secret World of Maggie Gray that is traditionally published, and it was just so messy and ratchet and so good, so black, truly for the culture, truly for the culture. Then there was Medusa by Ayana Gray. This is a YA Greek mythology retelling, and I rated this 4 stars. This retelling really focuses on Medusa's perspective, how she was wronged by the gods, especially Athena. I don't know if it kind of read very mature for YA, especially with some of the abuse that happens, but still I think it was done very tactful for YA. I am not very familiar with the whole Greek mythology. It's been some time since 9th grade Greek mythology English, but I just thought this was just such a great, I don't know, maybe like a feminist take on it, but still eye-opening and just such a good time with the fantasy and the plot and the pacing. This was just such a good retelling, and I also like the fact that she was Black. I loved her dreads and the detail of this version of the retelling. Such a good book. I didn't really expect to like it as much as I did. I mean, I gave it 4 stars, but it was so entertaining, and I think a lot of it was because I went into it kind of unfamiliar of the Medusa story. I mean, I know it, but I didn't know it, and so this was just such a good book to me. Okay, let's get into my historical romances. So one of my 2026 goals was I really wanted to get more into historical romances, or like Regency romances. This next book is Aphrodite and the Duke by J.J. McCoy. I rated this a 3.5. It was good. This is a second chance. I don't know if it's that I don't really care too much for second chance, but it was good. It was actually really still entertaining. I had a good time with it. I wasn't sure how I felt about historical romances, but I'm really into it. It's just so classy and together. And so this focus on Aphrodite. She's the eldest daughter, very wealthy family in England. There is this duke that she fell in love with years ago. She was jilted. He married another woman, and there was this whole like secret situation about like why he married her. They get another opportunity to be together, and something from his past comes back, kind of keeps them from being together a second time, but it all works out. It was a really good book. It was good. I would probably rate this like a solid 3. Good book. I had a good time. The next historical romance that I read was The Heiress Gets the Duke. It's a part of the Gilded Age series by Harper St. George. So the first book in this series, I rated a 3.75. This follows American Dollar Princess, who is not really fond of arranged marriages to align her father's business. She's more business savvy. She wants to go into family business and actually work. There is this duke who is arranged to marry her younger sister, but the duke is like, I actually like the older sister. And she's just like, bruh, nah. There's this dance of like, should she keep her independence and her freedom to, to do whatever she wants and to be single? And should she give up, this guy that she kind of likes? And he's just trying to win her over, and he's broke. So there's that. But she loves him anyway. And yeah, this was a really good, fun time for me. Sometimes you have to sprinkle in a little cuteness, a little romance. I immediately followed this up with the second book in the series, The Devil and the Heiress. The second book follows the younger sister. She is kind of set to marry someone else that she's falling in love with back home. Her father's just like, no, I have this man for you. So she decides to run away. This more mature man enters the picture. He also has financial issues, and he tries to like scheme her into falling in love with him. He can get this bag, her bag, their family's bag. It turns out he actually likes her and falls in love with her. This was a close proximity romance, which I like. I like this more than second chance romances or enemies to lovers. For me, it's gonna be close proximity and then friends to lovers. Those are my romance tropes that I really like. So they go on the run together. While they're on the run, they just fall in love with each other. I don't know if I'm gonna finish the series. There are 4 books in the series. I believe the next book might follow their older brother. It sounds interesting, but I'm not really like convinced to like go on with the series. I just really needed some more, a different type of romance in my month of February. The next book is By the Book by Jasmine Guillory. This is a contemporary romance. I rated this a 3.5, and I believe this is a part of the Disney's Meant to Be series. I haven't read any of the other books in this series, but this one, I'm glad I did. I didn't really know what to expect, it being a Disney Beauty and the Beast retelling. And not that I just liked it, I was actually surprised. I mean, Disney is Disney, you know, they do cutesy stuff. I just wasn't sure how cutesy this was gonna be. It was actually exactly what I needed. I read this kind of in the beginning of February, and January was I don't wanna say a heavy read for me, but it was more literary fiction, and so more serious topics. And so the beginning of February, I was just like, I just need something light. I need something cute. And this gave me exactly what I needed. This served me. Cute, light, happy ending, Beauty and the Beast retelling with Black main characters. This follows FMC. She is in the publishing industry. She loves books. She loves libraries, that whole thing. And the Beast is a very famous, he comes from a very wealthy family in California. He's writing a memoir about his life. That part kind of eluded me a bit because he wasn't really that important of a person to really be writing a memoir, but he was. And so he was struggling with his writing. Her publishing agency was like, hey, I'm gonna fly you out here so that you can help him get on with like writing this book. And so she's down there for a couple of months. It was exactly what I needed. It was zero spice, obviously it's Disney, but yeah, it was surprisingly good for Disney to do a contemporary romance, being a Black History Month and Black love. It was a really good read for me. I had a good time. 3.5, can't complain. My last book. Last but not least, Hold You Down by Tracy Brown. This is a historical fiction, and I rated this a 4.8. Listen to me. I heard about this book last year, and it was on my TBR, but I wasn't really into it because I'm not really into urban fiction. I don't really like reading about gangs and drug deals and all, even like mafia romances. That's not for me. I love that you love mafia romances. I'm not a mafia romance girly. So that's why I wasn't really interested in like gravitating towards it when I first heard about it. The second issue for me is about 2 single Black moms, and it's just like, I don't really find Black women struggling entertaining. And so I was just kind of like, that narrative, that trope, I'm just not really into it. Now, however, all of 2025, I kept saying, I want to be emotionally damaged. I want to be emotionally like devastated and ruined. I want to read a book that's going to ruin me emotionally. And I kept trying, and there were some books that were like, oh, this is sad, ooh, woo, woo, woo. But they never did it. Y'all, this book, Hold You Down? When I tell you, I bawled. I was wailing. I was emotionally devastated. This book follows 2 sisters in Harlem. It's historical fiction, so it starts in like the 80s and then kind of goes into like the 90s. Oh my God. It's a multi-genre fiction that follows just one family and all of their, I don't want to say bad luck, but their struggle and the way life just did not let up on them. It didn't. Life grabbed them by the throat and was just like, well, this is it for the rest of your lineage. And it was just devastating. Two sisters, the older sister gets pregnant at a young age. The father kind of skips out. The younger sister gets pregnant. The father of her child ends up dying. And so now they're just both struggling, broke, single, doing, in their early 20s, trying to figure it out. The younger sister, who is more of the life of the party, she is more vibrant, she's more of a risk taker, while the older sister is more of a planner. She's more put together, she's more organized, she's more diligent, she's the one that's gonna worry about everyone. The younger sister gets into the drug game and she's just like, I'm tired of being broke, I need money to raise my son. Things just go downhill from there. Now again, those type of stories are not for me. They're just not what I gravitate towards. However, I can appreciate Tracy Brown really pulling the curtains back beyond the stereotype of drugs and gangs and Black culture and Black women struggling. And this is really about the day-to-day love and bond between these two sisters. Oh my God, when I tell you this book devastated me, I kept thinking, did Tracy Brown just need a hug? You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, there was no reprieve. It was just anguish and after disappointment in life, just dragging this family through the mud. Oh my God, this book tore me to pieces. And it is categorized as like a romance. Hear me out. I would not do that to you. This is not a romance. There are relationships, you know what I'm saying? But this is not a romance, okay? No one gets a happy ending. There's just heartache. There's just mourning. There's just devastation. The ending it's unresolved. Oh, this book is gonna be in my top at the end of the year. Like, this book did it for me. Emotionally wrecked me. And I loved every second of it. I loved every single second of it. Tracy Brown, I don't know what compelled you to write this level of just like the ruinous you did to this family. But so good. Such an amazing book. I'm actually kind of disappointed that it took me so long to get to it because of my preconceived notions about the surface level of this book. But oh my God, 4.8. 4.8. The best romance that I read this month was The Heiress Gets a Duke by Harper St. George. The most surprising book that I read was Hold You Down by Tracy Brown. The most disappointing book that I read this month, and I wouldn't even say it was disappointing, it just didn't hold up to the first book. And that was the third installment in the Secret World of Maggot Gray, When a Wolf Loves the Moon. The most thought-provoking book that I read this month was Medusa, getting her perspective on how she was wronged and how she became the monster and how the trauma changed her identity and what she had to become to kind of survive. The book I can't stop thinking about, the book that I will recommend the most is Hold You Down by Tracy Brown. Could not stop thinking about that book. Still think about the book. It's still the beginning of the year and I had such a good reading month. I'm reading genres that are new to me. I'm finding different ways to find romance. No matter how hard I try to read different types of books, there's still romance in everything that I read. I had such an amazing read this month. If you have read any of these books, let me know. Do we agree? Am I gonna get humbled in the comment section? And that's my video. You're enough. Okay, thanks, bye.